So you have the great pleasure of having driven the car for the first time. So what's your initial impressions?
Well, it was really a real first time, and not only from the shape of the car, but with the technology that's in the car. And that was quite exciting, even though we had issues that we talked about before, and we had just really a very short run with very little power. I was quite nervous, to be honest, which sounds kind of crazy because we only did half the straight.
I assure you, you weren't as nervous as everybody standing up here wondering whether you would get down the straight.
Yeah, that calmed me a bit down. And the team told me actually, today you've driven yesterday the first time, go through the gears.
Right.
And I said, really? Are you sure you want the car to stop or have a problem? Or, I'm not really confident. I said, there's an electric motor in there and a race gearbox with pedal shifts. And I asked her, how is that going to work together? So that's quite complicated technology already.
Yes.
And it's not set up yet, 100% how it's going to be in the end. They said, don't worry, try it. And I did. And it was quite exciting. And, you have the electric motor coming, you have a lot of torque. And then you shift, and it's like a big bang, but you still have the same torque. So it's not like a normal engine where you go like, you go like, bah, bah. So it keeps going.
This is very clever technology, as I understand it, because you've got a dogtooth gearbox that somehow you get the synchronization through the electric motor, which is really quite innovative.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's the first time today I experienced, even on such a short run, world's first technology to have a gearbox like this combined with an electric motor, like you just explained. You probably know more about that because you probably spoke with Ben Bowlby. But it is highly exciting to drive it, and I can't wait really until it's fully developed and the problems are sorted out. It's gonna be super exciting.
I couldn't help but notice, but there were no wing mirrors on the car.
Right, I noticed too, because of course when you're in a race car or in any car really, first thing you should do is check the mirrors.
Really? I never knew a race driver that ever looked behind. Don't you guys just focus on ahead?
Actually, they do. And when you follow a car, you can see they pretend not to, but the head always moves slightly. The guy in front just means they look.
Oh, okay,
they choose to ignore to see you.
To block you.
Yes, that's
so
right.
There's no mirrors.
There's no mirrors.
Yeah?
There's no mirrors in the car. I had the same thing. I sat in the car. Where's the mirrors? We're going to use a rear camera, a wide angle, which gives us actually a much better view in the end than having mirrors. So we can see a lot on the back, and you have no. How do you say in English? We say black angles or dark angles.
No, exactly. Yeah. No blockages.
No blockages.
And no drag, of course.
And this is the key to it, of course, no drag, because we want to do everything as efficient as we can. In Le Mans, you want to be on the straight as fast as you can.
Right. So tell me about the handling. Obviously, the car looks unusual with that narrow front tyres. And obviously, you've driven cars of similar type of architecture before. Yeah. How does it feel compared to a conventional vehicle?
Today, maybe you have realized when I drove down the straight that I was zigzagging and doing turns. I did not do this just for the camera, because we had GoPros on it to take some footage. I did it because I actually wanted to feel how that is actually in there. And that type of car feels extremely responsive on the front. So you turn the steering and immediately the car responds. And at first this is quite intimidating as a driver. You drive yourself, I've seen you drive very fast on tracks. You know that when the car responds too quick, you're kind of afraid that the rear immediately spins you around, right? I know it takes you. And that's the first impression. But because of the clever weight distribution design, you have all the weight in the rear, it's actually very stable. So it actually turns, but the rear is there. And this is something as a driver you have to kind of unlearn to be afraid of that.